I told my husband the truth about our marriage. And it cost me everything. My name is Maya. I'm 35 now. And a few years ago I made a choice, a brutally honest choice, that shattered my marriage. I don't regret telling the truth, but I live every day with the cost of it. Let me take you back not to the moment it ended, but to the years that built up to that collapse. I met Lucas in college. We were inseparable. Nerdy, ambitious, young and in love. We got married a few years after graduation. At the time, I truly believed I had everything I'd ever wanted. 14 years and 2 kids later, Clara, now 16, and Noah, who's 11, the version of my life I'd created looked solid from the outside. But inside I was slowly disappearing. I was what people called a good wife. Organized, capable, dependable. I took care of everything. School forms, doctor appointments, grocery runs, planning birthday parties, folding endless loads of laundry, coordinating visits with his mother, even making sure we never forgot to send thank you notes. I ran our household like a tight ship. But no one noticed that I was exhausted. Lucas worked long hours. He was a reliable provider, and I never denied that. But when he came home, his day ended. Mine didn't. He'd walk in, drop his keys, and sink into the couch while I juggled dinner, homework, emotional meltdowns, and cleaning up after everyone. If I asked for help, sure, he'd do it, but only if I asked. And that right there is what broke me over time. I had to manage him like he was another one of the kids. What crushed me the most was that he never noticed. Our physical relationship was no different. For years, sex became a chore, another task to check off. Not because I didn't love him, but because I was so emotionally starved, so worn down from carrying the entire weight of our lives, that I couldn't feel connected anymore. It wasn't about desire. It was about obligation. I went along with it, always. Because I thought that's what a good wife did. You keep your husband happy. You keep your marriage together. You don't make waves. And I told myself I was being noble. That I was protecting our stability. That every wife probably felt this way sometimes. That one day things would settle down and we'd feel like ourselves again. But deep down I was disappearing. And Lucas didn't even notice. Until one night, a Tuesday in March, everything changed. Noah had just lost a tooth and was in full drama mode over the tooth fairy. Clara was melting down over a school project she'd known about for weeks. Lucas came home late as usual. I'd already fed the kids, cleaned up, and was folding laundry in our bedroom when he came in and sat on the edge of the bed. He looked tired but also serious. He said, "Maya, are we okay?" I wanted to brush it off. I was so used to brushing things off. But then he said something that broke me. I feel like you're not really there with me anymore. Especially, when we're together." He said it kindly, genuinely. But it still hit me like a punch. And I cracked. I told him the truth. I told him I hadn't truly wanted to be intimate in years. That I'd done it because I thought it was my duty. Not because I felt desire or connection. That it felt like just another thing on my list. That I had stopped feeling like a woman and started feeling like a machine. I told him all of it, every bit of pain I had swallowed for years. The look on his face, it wasn't anger. It was hurt, deep shattering hurt. Like I'd ripped away the veil on a version of our life he thought was real. He asked if I was serious. He nodded. Then he asked how long. I said, "Since before Noah was born. Maybe longer." He slept in the guest room that night. I laid in our bed alone, finally unburdened, but also terrified. I thought honesty would help us rebuild. But it broke us open. In the weeks that followed, he didn't yell. He didn't even argue. But something in him shut down completely. He became polite, distant. No more affection. No more "hey babe." No more little kisses. It was like I was living with a roommate who happened to be the father of my children. First I was relieved. No more pretending. No more pressure. But then it hit me, I had finally been honest. And now I was being punished for it. 3 weeks after our conversation, I tried to initiate intimacy. For the first time in years. The kids were at sleepovers. I reached out gently. He pulled away. He said, "I'm not ready." That rejection crushed me. Because all those years he'd wanted me to be available, no matter how I felt. And now that I wanted to connect, he had boundaries. I became bitter. I nitpicked. I corrected him in front of the kids. I made everything tense. I was unraveling and I couldn't stop it. I suggested couples therapy, but in a condescending, "you're the problem" kind of way. Not to save the marriage, but to prove I was right. When we finally saw a therapist, I laid it all out, the imbalance, the stress, the emotional void. And Lucas, he said this, "I just found out my wife has been pretending with me for years. I don't know what was real anymore. I'm scared I've been hurting her and didn't even see it." That moment should have softened me. But I was too defensive. "There's a difference," I snapped, "between pretending and sacrificing for your marriage." But he wasn't hearing me. And I wasn't hearing him. After months of going in circles, Lucas said he wanted a trial separation. I was stunned. I accused him of throwing away everything, of being fragile, of having a midlife crisis. He didn't budge. I told our friends and family my version of the story. That he was upset because I was honest about a few things. That he was running away instead of working on it. I painted myself as the reasonable one. But then the divorce came. It was messy. His lawyer framed my honesty as deception. I lost more than just a partner. I lost my sense of identity, my stability. Even my kids started spending more time at his house because, let's be honest, it was less stressful there. And then 2.5 years later, Clara showed me her dad's engagement ring. He was marrying someone new, Elena. And I had nothing. Elena was vibrant, career-focused, joyful, all the things I used to be. She was everything I wasn't anymore. And Lucas, he looked genuinely happy. That crushed me more than anything. Seeing photos of them dancing, seeing how he looked at her, like she mattered, like she was seen. Even worse, my kids adored her. Noah asked to live with them full-time. Clara was already spending most of her time there anyway. And I couldn't compete. I was the stressed-out single mom in the small apartment. They were the new, happy family with a dog and vacation photos. And yet, despite losing my home, my marriage, my comfort, and even parts of my children's affection, I still can't regret telling the truth that night. Because that truth was real. And maybe that's the saddest part. Lucas learned how to be the man I needed, with someone else. Elena reaps the reward of the emotional work I helped him do. She gets his attention, his effort, his love. I got his learning curve. Now people say I'm bitter, that I threw away a good marriage. But they didn't live in my head. They didn't spend years being invisible. They didn't perform through exhaustion to keep a family functioning on fumes. I told the truth. And yes, it cost me everything. But pretending would have cost me even more.